What's up, everybody? How are you doing? It is Kelly. We are going live today. And so, our topic today is women. Women. It's not your brilliance, it's your belief. Yes. Or really, more specifically, your lack of belief. Right. So, that's what we're going to be talking about today. I keep forgetting to put on a lip gloss, y'all. So, let me do it. I'm not perfect. I'm powerful. But so that's what happened. Anyway, so today we're going to be talking about it's not your brilliance, it's your belief. And so if you know a brilliant woman who's out there in these streets and she's always complaining about, not getting the raise or not getting on the stage or just not being able to um complete her goals, right? Achieve her goals. I want you to tag her somewhere and tell her jump on this live because she needs to be here. And if you are she, then you need to be here. And we're going to be talking today. So today, what I also want you to know is that today you're going to need pen and paper. I need you to have pen and paper because I'm going to give you some real actionable things that you need to do so that we can move you forward. As women, we just playing around too much, right? We're not taking ourselves seriously. We're playing too small, present company included. So whenever you see me do some of these things, when I go live, often these are things that are happening in my own life that have come to the surface in my own life, and I'm just like, yeah, it's time to talk about it, right? And so, this whole idea about your belief and your lack of belief has come up a number of times in conversations with other women, but also has come up in conversations where I have been personally challenged by my own coaches around my belief, right? And what I know for sure, it's not about my brilliance. That I know that I'm brilliant. So it's not about my brilliance. Sometimes there is, though, this kind of lack of belief. There's a misalignment between who I know I am in terms of my capabilities, my background, my experience, and how I'm showing up in the world. And that disconnect is around belief. Sometimes it's around a lack of clarity, which also is tied into my beliefs at some time. So that's what I want to talk about today because I think it's really important for us as women to be truthful, to be honest with ourselves, because a lot of what's happening for us is this internal conversation that's holding us back. And we're often looking for external validation or external factors to to move us forward. And I want us to take more responsibility, more personal responsibility. So, who am I and why should you listen to me if you've never met me before? I'm Kelly Charles Collins. I am a retired employment law trial attorney. Next year will be 3 decades, I say 30 years since I was sworn in as a licensed attorney in the state of Florida, good old state of Florida, where I live in Orlando. And when in 2020, I embarked on a full time entrepreneurial journey as a professional speaker. So now I'm a keynote and an award winning TEDx speaker. I am a 5-time author. And I also work with speakers, so women speakers, experts, coaches, consultants, professional service providers. So lawyers like me, doctors, CPAs, et cetera, PhDs who really have a deep level of expertise, either from their personal or their professional experience. And what I help them to do is really get clear about their unique genius, because you all are brilliant, right? As I said, you get really clear about your unique genius. And then I enhance your speaking skills to highlight that and also to help you solidify your power, your presence, and your thought leadership. I also do that for executive women in the corporate space, because even those women who don't want to be professional speakers or aren't looking to build like a coaching or consulting business through speaking, the ability to communicate powerfully and to elevate their influence is it requires you to be able to speak, right? And so it requires you to be able to understand same things, right? Understand your unique genius, enhance that with your speaking skills, and then solidify your power, presence, and thought leadership. It's all the same thing, just in a different arena, right? So I work with women executives who want to, use public speaking and enhance their public speaking skills to elevate their careers inside the corporate space. And then also work with other women who want to use public speaking. One, it could be to transition out of, where they are in corporate, which I did. Two, want to do it as a full-time profession, right? They want to speak. They just want to speak. They want to get paid to speak. Or we have women who want to do a hybrid of you want to get paid to speak, but you also have a coaching business or a consulting business or some other type of business, and you want to use speaking to generate leads. So there's all kinds of ways that you can use this. And also, it's not even just about being on stages. It's not even just about being in corporate spaces. One of my clients is using what we have developed for her signature talk, yes, to be on stages, and she'll be in Dubai in June or July, and then she'll be in Paris in September, using what we developed as her signature talk. But she's also taken that signature talk to help her to get funding for her philanthropic efforts that she's doing with youth in Chattanooga, right? So you can take all of the skills that you will learn and be able to leverage them in so many different ways. So it's not just about speaking on stages when we're talking about how do we really hone into your unique genius. So that's who I am. And if you want to know more about me, you can go to kellycharlescollins.com or go to my LinkedIn and you can click around and find me. But in when did I start Speaker Mogul? So I started full-time speaking in 2020, I think late 2021, or early 2022. I can't remember now. I started my company Speaker Moguls. And the reason I started Speaker Moguls is because I started to see in the industry how women were being treated in terms of not being paid or being asked to constantly speak for exposure or being offered, really low fees in terms of being able to be on stages and to share their brilliance, right? Share their expertise with audience and really transform audiences. I also noticed that as Black women and brown women, we were really the bulk, right? Getting that information, getting those types of offers. And not even, it's not even so much about people, the offer, it's about the expectation, right? That is the thing for me that really rubbed me the wrong way, was that there was an expectation that we should, right? I remember specifically having a conversation. I was called by someone and they were having a conference in Florida. So the conference is about maybe 3 hours away from where I am. And the conversation, this already started off bad because the conversation started with, we have this conference and we were looking at our speaker roster and we realized that we didn't have any diversity. So that was already like, okay. And so they said, they wanted to talk to me about being one of the speakers because, again, they wanted to have diversity on the stage. Okay, fine. Listen, I'm gonna listen. I didn't like I didn't like the foray into the conversation, but whatever. I'm gonna listen. It's local. Let me listen. And so, we're having this whole conversation around it, and we get to the point where I'm like, okay, well, let's talk money. And so they said, well, we had a budget for speakers. However, we've used all of the money for our keynote speaker, who is a white male, right? And so we don't have any budget. And I said, well, my speaker fee is, and I told them my speaker fee. And they physically responded to the fee. And one of them said, oh, I wish I could do that. I wish I could have that fee. And I said, well, you can. You just have to ask for it. And then she said, well, she said, well, we're because it was still kind of in that pandemic phase. And she said, well, what we can, what people have been doing, this is what she said to me, what people have been doing, because it's the pandemic, is that they've been waiving their fee. And I said, well, that's unfortunate. I said, that is unfortunate that they've been doing that because we're still working. And also, you just told me that you're paying the white male who's on stage, and you need me to be there because you need me for your diversity hire. Right? And so I told them, I am not coming there to speak for free. I am not waiving my fee. And they weren't even thinking about like giving me mileage or anything that I was going to be, nothing. And I said, you have sponsors, you apparently had a budget, go figure it out, and then come back and we can have a conversation. Well, I'm sure you know. They didn't come back. The reason I tell you this is because these are the types of conversations that are being had with Black and brown and women speakers, right? Often around the expectation that you should be thankful, I guess, for the opportunity. And so, if somebody asks you to speak, you should speak, right? And there's going to be exposure. Well, exposure is a myth, right? Because if people don't know who your audience, I know this is going a little bit off of what I'm going to talk about, but I'm going to bring it back. But if people don't know who your audience is, like who your ideal audience is, who your paying audience is, then they cannot promise you exposure. And I've told them, and I actually told them on that conversation, because they did say to me about exposure. And I said to her, exposure don't pay bills. And it don't. Not doesn't, don't. Exposure don't pay bills. Right. And so it's something that we have to get in our brains and in our hearts and in our minds. And this does go back to what I'm talking about. It's not your brilliance, it's your belief. Because if I didn't have the belief in who I am, right, then when they said to me, hey, we want you to have you on this stage, and listen, you're going to get this exposure, and everybody else is waiving their fees. If I was to listen to all of that because I didn't believe in who I was and believe in my capabilities, then I would have been down there. I would have gotten in my car, drove those hours, got on stage, done whatever I needed to do. And if I go, I'm going to show up in excellence anyway. Right? But it goes back to belief. I believed in who I was. I believed in the fee that I told them. I believed that I deserved, right, to be paid to be there, just like that man was going to be paid to be on that stage. I believed. And so therefore I was holding them to account for that, right? And they couldn't pay up, so I wasn't going anywhere. So I give you that example because since I've started Speaker Moguls, my company, I realized that this is an everyday conversation for many of us, right? And especially for many of us as women, and as I said, Black and brown women, this is a conversation that is constantly being had with us, and that we are being complicit in this conversation and allowing this conversation to be able to continue, to allow this expectation around us working for free to continue. When you come in, say hi. If you have any questions, comments, anything, just drop it. If you get any aha moments, any nuggets, even if you're on team replay, let me know. Okay. So what was happening is that I started doing all of these workshops, and I have one coming up again, April 29th through May 3rd. And I'm going to actually put the banner at the bottom so that you all can register for that. Positionpitchprofit.com is the website, and the workshop is Speaker Pathways to Profit. So I started doing all these different workshops, launches, challenges, whatever you want to call them. And what I would realize, and what I realized in these things is everybody is like, well, how do I get paid to speak? How do I get paid to speak? Hey, whoever said, hey, it doesn't show me your name, so tell me who it is. How do I get paid to speak? How do I get paid to speak? How do I get paid to speak? And I'm like, okay. I'm like, well, tell me about yourself. right? So tell me about yourself. Who are you? Right. And I started asking questions around, hey, Janelle, I started asking questions around who's in my audience, who's showing up for these conversations, and asking, their degrees, asking how many years they've had experience. And you're talking about women, generally the women who are attracted to me, who are in my space, who want to work with me, are women who are have been in their professions for a while, right? You're talking about women who are probably in their later stages of their career, and they've been in it for, been in the workspace or in their have experience, talking about 10 years, 15 years, 20 years, 30 years, right? Like me. And these are people who have PhDs, who have who have law degrees, who have CPA licenses, who have coach certifications, who have all the things. There's no shortage of initials behind their names, right? Or there's no shortage of life experience that they've had. And for those that are still in the corporate space, making six, maybe multiple six figures, right, in their business. Yet the question is still, well, how do I get paid to speak? Hmm, that's interesting, right? Because here you are, like this powerhouse inside of whatever else you're doing, and you want to know, you're speaking about the thing that you're doing or been doing for all these years, and the question still is, how do I get paid to speak? What do I charge? How much do I charge to speak? Do I need to speak for free? Because everybody tells you need to go speak for free first, which you don't. Do I need to speak for free? No. So the question for me is like, okay, well, what's happening? What is the disconnect? What is the separation? Right? And so when I look at it, when I look at the women who are in my space, right? When I look at the women who follow me on social media and comment or reach out to me in DMs or have conversations with me through my workshops, there's no shortage of brilliance. So that's why I say it's not your brilliance. Y'all don't lack brilliance. You lack belief. Right? You lack belief. And I want to talk to you about that because I think it's so important. If we understand that this is an internal block, this is an internal conversation that we need to have, and it's a roadblock that we need to really move through and move out of the way so that we can step into our greatness, so that we can unapologetically step into our greatness. Right. And so today, what I want to do is I want to go through some of those things that are holding us back, that impact our beliefs. I also want to talk to you about strategies, right? I want to give you some very specific strategies for moving through those. And then I also want to invite you to sign up for my Speaker Pathways to Profit workshop if you are somebody who wants to leverage speaking, either to get paid to speak or speak to get paid, right? So you go to positionpitchprofit.com and immediately register. It's free. It's 5 days of free live training with me, where it's going to be real and raw, just like it is today. Okay. All right. So one of the things I want to talk about in terms of our belief, and let me say this first before I get into it, is when I say your belief, it's about your belief. I remember one of my clients asked me one time, she said, Kelly, do you believe in me? And I said, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if I believe in you. It's not about whether or not other people believe in you. When I talk about it's your belief, I'm talking about whether or not you believe in yourself. If we look for our external validation around our beliefs, we're going to be disappointed. Why? Because then somebody has control over your beliefs, right? Somebody has control. So I could say to you, yes, I love you. I believe in you. I think you are the best thing since sliced bread. Like, you are awesome. That's today. Next week, we have a falling out. And I'm like, I knew you couldn't do it. I knew you were trash. I was just saying that to make you feel good. Now, all of a sudden, you're like, but wait, because somebody else has control of your belief. You have to believe in yourself, right? Don't worry about what other people believe. That's great. If other people believe in you, that is an added bonus. But you have to believe in yourself first, right? This is about you. So let's talk about some of the things that are impacting your belief, or some of the beliefs that you have that are impacting your ability to achieve your goals, whatever those goals are. And clearly, right, I'm talking to women I want to work with, right? So a lot of this is talking to a lot of you who are like me, who are lawyers, who are, doctors, who are PhDs, who are CPAs, who are professional service providers, all the things. I'm talking to you. All right. So there's one of the things that we have that's a problem for us, right? That causes issues for us is this whole myth of readiness, that we have to be ready, meaning we have to be 100% ready at all times. We have to have every little duck in a row, or else we can't do what we're supposed to do. And how do I know? Because she's me. Right? This is the curse of perfectionism. And I am a perfectionist. I am, right? I like things to be just so. I like everything to be perfect before I do things. But I will also say I'm actually a recovering perfectionist, right? And if you have any comments, please drop them. If you want to share, your thoughts around this conversation. This is a conversation, so don't think that you can't say anything to me or have any comments or questions. I am here. I will answer. I will join in. I will show your comment and question on the screen. But we have this myth that we have to have everything. You hear people here. There's always stuff talking about, like, women, for example, like applying for jobs. If we go to apply for a job, we want to make sure that we have every single duck in a row, right? That we meet every single qualification on that job description, or we don't apply for it. You know who don't do that? You know. You know who doesn't do that, right? But we do. We think that we have to have every single thing, but this is a mirage. This whole thing about readiness and perfectionism is one of the things that is holding us back and is impacting the belief that we have about ourselves. Because here's the thing: many of you have everything. I keep telling you, have everything. You have every degree, you have every certification. I talk to a lot of women when I'm doing these workshops, or just outside when people get on my calendar, and should I get another certificate? You don't need another certification. You don't. You just need to take action on what you already have, right? So we believe, however, that we're not good enough. We believe that we haven't, we just need this one more thing. This is the whole myth of readiness, right? In our ability to move forward, because we don't think we have that one thing. You have everything that you need, right? You have everything that you need. And so it's one of the reasons why, we did our kind of iconic talks virtual leadership conference the other day with my clients. And I said to them, be powerful, not perfect. Because perfectionism holds us back. Perfectionism impacts our belief about ourselves, our belief about whether we deserve something, our belief about whether or not this is the place that we're supposed to be. Right. So we have to get past that. We have to get past this whole thing of, like, we have to have everything, in order. Now, I'm not saying, because I don't believe in this part of it. I don't believe in the whole thing about fake it till you make it. I don't believe in that. Right. So I'm not saying fake it until you make it. What I'm saying is, look at exactly who you are right now. Look at exactly what you know that you are capable of right now. And look at who you are right now, but also look at the potential for who you can be, who you can become, what you can do with what you have right now. Because there's so much about what we know right now, right this minute, what we can do right this minute. But it is something that can push us toward the vision, the greater vision that we already have, right? But we're thinking that's out there. I'm here, and therefore I don't have what it takes to get there. No, you do. What you have to do is get very resourceful. You have to get very cerebral. You have to start thinking and be very intentional and strategic about where it is that you're trying to go, and look at what you have right now and how do you get there, right? So the myth of readiness is holding you back. This one is really got a stronghold on y'all. And I listen, if you know me, anything about me, you know, I do not believe in this, but I'm going to talk about it because I know that a lot of you have embraced this. And it's this whole notion of imposter syndrome. Can y'all just leave that where they found it back in the 70s or whoever, whenever they found that? Leave it back there. It doesn't belong to you. It has nothing to do with you. You're not an imposter, right? So I always say, like, you know, I believe in the power of words and that words matter. When you think about imposter syndrome, right? It means, like, for me, sick fraud, right? You're not a sick fraud. And if I were to come up to you and say sick fraud, you'd be like when we were younger and want to put your hair in a ponytail, put Vaseline on your face, take your earrings off, and you want to fight. You'd be ready to fight. So if you would not allow somebody else to call you a sick fraud, why would you take that on? Why would you claim that? Why would you take that on as a mantle? Like, this is a label and you've taken this on. And so many of you have taken this on. And if you think about what they say about imposter syndrome, it's that you have these doubts, you have these fears. Those are normal emotions. That's normal. To be scared, to be fearful, to be doubting something, to have a lack of clarity, to be uncertain. That is normal. That is a normal human emotion. So why would we attach something to it so negative as imposter syndrome? You want to know why? So that y'all won't go after the things that you want to go after. So that you won't go try to achieve your goals. So you won't try to get into those boardrooms. So you won't try to go find, get those jobs. So you won't go ask for those raises. So you won't tell that person that just said to you, oh, we need a diversity hire. We're paying the white male that's going to be on stage, but we need you to come and speak for free. That's why. Leave it alone. Leave it where they found it. It doesn't belong to you. Stop claiming it. Stop saying you have imposter syndrome. You do not. You have emotions. You have normal human emotions. You have a brain that's working, a brain and an amygdala in your brain, the amygdala part of your brain that's saying, hey, hold up. Is it time? Fight, flight, or freeze? That's what's happening, right? You're not fake. You're not a fraud. You're not going to be found out somehow. They're going to find out that you're brilliant. Right? But first, you got to find that out. So imposter syndrome, please leave that. Dump it, garbage it, trash it. Don't claim it. It doesn't belong to you. Get rid of it. Another thing that around our belief is that a lot of you don't believe, or some of you, I won't say a lot of you, some of you don't believe that you deserve to be successful. You don't deserve the success that you're going after. You don't deserve to be paid to speak. You don't deserve to be paid, right? For, doing a workshop. You don't deserve to be paid six figures for your job, or you don't deserve that promotion. You don't deserve that board seat. We don't believe that we deserve the thing. Even though that you've gone to school for the thing, you have multiple degrees for the thing, you have been doing the thing, you have been teaching people the thing, but somehow there is this belief inside of you that you don't deserve it, right? It's not your brilliance. It's not your brilliance holding you back. I promise you, it's not your brilliance holding you back. It's your beliefs. Your belief that you don't deserve to be where you are. I always share that one of my mottos in life is that I belong everywhere I am, but I don't belong everywhere. What does that mean? It means that I belong in every single room, every single situation, every single place that I am. I belong there. But not everywhere deserves my presence, right? And so there is this belief system that I have around who I am and what I deserve in life. And I know that I deserve to be successful. I have worked my ass off to get to where I am. So I deserve to be successful. But some of you don't have that belief for some reason. You're thinking, no, eh, again, back to I'm not ready, or maybe that's for other people. It's not for me. It's for you. Success is your birthright. I'm gonna put that out. To me, success is your birthright, right? You're entitled to it. I know people say, oh, take entitlement out of it. I don't care about that. You get what you believe. You get what you believe, right? Now, I also talk to you, and other situations you've heard me talk about. There's belief, but then there's also action, right? So, but belief, I got to get you to believe. I got to get you to believe that you deserve the things, right? I have to get you to believe that you deserve the goals that you've set. I have to get you to believe that you deserve to be paid, just like you deserve to be paid for the work that you do when you go clock in at somebody else's job. You deserve to be paid as a business owner. You deserve to be paid for the work that you do, for the company that you built, for the brilliance and the expertise that you've honed and over the years, through years of schooling or blood, sweat, tears, however you got it. You deserve it. You deserve success, but you got to believe that first, right? Because we can only, my sister always says, you can only show up in the clearing that you are, right? And so if you don't believe it, when you show up in spaces, then other people will, it's like, how they say like sharks, they smell blood in the water, right? So if you don't believe, they'll know that you don't believe. Why? Because your body language will show up that way, the words that you use, just even in your right, your facial expressions, all the things will show up for people to understand, I got this one. I got this one, right? But if you show up in the power of who you are and like, no, I deserve to be in this space. I deserve to be respected. They say put some respect on your name, right? RESPECK on your name. Then when you show up in that space, if you have that belief, then you can transfer that belief to other people. Right? My clients always tell me that I'm very good at transferring confidence. It's not that I'm transferring confidence. What I do is I help them to get very clear, right? Clarity precedes confidence. So when I help you to get clear about something, when I help you to, when you are very, very clear, for me especially, right? When I am very clear, I'm unstoppable. So that's what I help you to do, is really to get clear so that you can be confident. And when you are confident, you believe in the things that you're going after. You believe that you deserve to get those things, right? So that's another area that we need to talk about. Now, a lot of what I'm talking about and have been talking about is like these internal things. Imposter syndrome is kind of an external factor that has been brought in. And obviously we can't negate, right, that there are systemic issues. We can't negate that there are things in the system, right, that impact the way we believe about ourselves and the things that we believe. And we're bombarded with some of those things and have been since we were young girls, right? About being quiet and don't be too this, and wait your turn and act like a lady, and all the things that have been brought upon us, right, to kind of keep us small and keep us in a box and keep us in our space. That impacts what you believe about yourself. That impacts what you believe about what you're capable of, right? And where you should be in the world, and what are the spaces that you should think that you deserve to be in. And I get that. But we know that, right? We know that those things are there. And so when we know better, we do better. And so we know the things are there. We know that the society is out there with all these things. We got to do better though, right? We have to then stand up for ourselves. Like we have to take our power back. We have to own our power. Toni Morrison says it's one thing to accept your freed self. It's another to take ownership of your freed self. And my mission is for women to take ownership of our freed selves, right? I talk about my V suite: to own your vision, your voice, your visibility, and your value. We have to take ownership of our freed selves. We have to take ownership of what it is that we want to do in the world, who we want to be in the world, the impact that we want to create, the influence that we want to have, right? It's not enough to just blame external factors and just be like, "Oh, it's the man, it's all this over here." No, what is your responsibility? We cannot be complicit in our own erasure. And one of the ways that we do that is to start believing in exactly who we are, right? Not the caricature that people have created of you, right? Not the awful words and things that people have said about you, right? Maybe from the time that you were small. Not those things that in your relationships where somebody's trying to beat you down. No. The things that you know in your heart and in your soul who you are and who you are meant to be, what your purpose is, right? I know my purpose is to be the light for others to stand in their greatness. So I have to believe in that and show up in that clearing so that you all, right, the people who I'm trying to influence, the people who I'm trying to impact, have a space to be able to be who you are and to be able to stand unapologetically in your greatness. That's the same thing for you. You have to figure out what is your purpose, and you have to stand in that every single day. And you have to believe in that. Now, listen, it doesn't mean that every day we're just like, yeah, beating our chest like we're a hero and we're here to save the day every day. And that we're just, I believe in myself 100% every day. No. There are days when I'm like, what is happening over here? Like, what am I doing? But I know at my core, I'm powerful. I know at my core, I'm brilliant. And I just got to like sometimes sit down and be like, sis, you are that chick. You are that chick. Show up like it. Show up like her. Right. And then the last thing I want to talk about, and this portion of it is really around the fear of success. So we often think about the fear of failure, right? Or maybe the fear of achievement. Well, what we know is that you're not fearful of achieving. And you're really not fearful of failing, because if you were fearful of failing, you wouldn't have gone and gotten all those degrees and all those certificates and all the things. Right? So you're not fearing failure. You might, however, fear success. Like, what does that mean? If I go do that big thing, right? If I say I want to be a professional speaker, if I say I want to be paid $20,000 want somebody to pay me $20,000 to speak for 15 minutes. Ooh, what if they say yes? What if they say yes? What does that mean? Right? Can I go do that? If I do it, is it going to be good enough? And again, some of you would be like, oh, that's imposter syndrome. No, it ain't. It's not. It's fair. Red light, yellow light. Hey, caution. Be mindful, because they say be careful what you ask for. You might just get it. So if I ask to be paid $20,000 to speak for 15 minutes and somebody says yes, guess what? Now I got to stand in the power of that. So I got to believe. I have to believe that I can do that. I have to believe that who I say I am is who I am. Right? So I want you to start thinking about these things and thinking about, what is it that's keeping you from really believing that you are that chick? Really believing that, like Lizzo says, I'm 100% that. What is it? What is stopping you from doing that? Because it's not the degrees, it's not the life experience, it's not any of those. Like, you have all that. So what is it about that and the goal that you're going after? Like, what is the disconnect? Why don't you believe? Right? And so what I want to help you do is to give you some exercises. So if you got your pen and paper ready, get your pen and paper ready. I want to give you some exercises to really help disrupt right? This belief pattern that you have, like where you're not 100% all in for you, right? I want to disrupt that for you. I want to help you disrupt that so that you can go achieve the goals that you've set, right? If your goal is to be, a keynote speaker, if your goal is to be a paid consultant, if your goal is to be a coach for, women or children or men or whoever the coach is, if you want to have a consulting business, if you want to elevate your career, right? You want to go from being mid-level management to senior level to the V to VPs to C-suites to be on boards, like whatever it is, whatever that major goal is that you have, I want to help you disrupt the belief patterns that are holding you back from achieving those goals. So get your pen and paper ready and let's go. And I have some notes, so I want to make sure that I give you everything. So the first thing that I want you to do is practice what I call evidence journaling. Right? Evidence journaling. So that should come as no surprise that I use the word evidence because I'm a lawyer and I was a trial lawyer. So it's all about the evidence, right? I want you to do what's called evidence journaling. And this is where I want you to document your achievements and like any positive feedback that you're getting. So say for instance, somebody told you today, like, oh, that was really great that that idea that you had in the meeting was really great. I want you to write that down. If somebody says, hey, that post that you put out today, oh, that was on point. Or sometimes, we put these posts out and people say on social media and somebody says, I needed that today. I want you to write those things down. I want you to keep track of the evidence that you are who you say you are, right? And yes, this is external. A lot of this is going to be external in this evidence journaling, but for some of you, this is what you need to really get into your brain, because you already know that you have the degrees. You already know you have all this. But sometimes the disconnect for us is that we think, well, yeah, I have all these things, but is it really doing anything for anybody? Am I really impacting people in any way? When you write a post and somebody says, I needed that today, I'm so glad that you said that. Oh, that's an impact. You have like really impacted somebody's soul, somebody's life, because they didn't have to tell you that. But whatever you did was so profound in that moment that they felt that they needed to share with you. So evidence journaling is about pulling in all of those types of moments and feedback and areas of growth, things that are happening for you every day, so that you start to really believe that, yeah, I am her, right? I am her. So I want you to start doing that. So write down these things, whether it's, for today, yesterday, just keep track. I don't care if you keep it in your phone. I don't care if you keep it in a notebook. A lot of you journal anyway. So make this part of your journaling that you're like, okay, what do I need to show up as me? The second thing is I want you to publicly commit to this. I want you to publicly commit to something, right? So if you have a goal that you set, maybe it's not the end all be all of the goal, but maybe it's one of the steps that's necessary for you to reach that goal. I want you to put that out into the world. I want you to publicly tell people. I don't care if you put it in a social media post. I don't know if you do it on a live stream, maybe just calling a friend. I want you to publicly tell people. When I was transitioning out of the practice of law and I wanted to do that, I publicly said, this is what I wanted to do. And why did I do that? Because I know that it would hold me accountable, that I would do it. Why do I, when I am going to go live, why do I schedule these lives? Because if I don't schedule them, I'll be like, oh, I'm going to go live today. And then I'll start doing all kinds of stuff. And guess what? I will never go live. I would rather not. But if I schedule it, I have to show up. I have made a public commitment. So for some of you, the belief, right, has to come from like publicly putting it out there and then doing the things to help you to stay true to your word around that, right? So do public commitments and then follow up. And if you want to put your public commitment here in the chat, right, even if you're on Team Replay, put it here. And then let us know, keep us updated on how you're progressing. And that's the thing. So don't just put it out there and just be like, oh, I said it, Kelly, I said it. and then don't do anything about it. No, you got to follow up. You got to do the things, right? And you got to keep tracking. You got to keep telling whoever it is that you have completed it. So whether you're starting a project, whether you're trying to get speaking engagements. So if you say, I want to get 5 speaking engagements in the next month, then put that out there and then go do it and tell us how it's going, right? So whatever that is. Third thing, and I'm going to give you 4 things and then we're going to be out of here. The third thing is what I call role reversal advocacy. So what does this mean? We are so good, present company included, we are so good about advocating for other people, right? Telling how amazing and just wonderful they are, what they do and how they do it and who they do it for. Now ask us. Ask us to talk about ourselves. Oh, that's a whole nother challenge, right? That is a whole problem for us to talk about ourselves. And if you're like me, I don't like talking about myself. So this is something that I want you to work on. So if you have to advocate for yourself, if there's something that you're going after, maybe you're going after a job, maybe you're going after a speaking engagement, maybe you're pitching a workshop, whatever it is that you're doing, right? You want to start a project, you want to do a nonprofit, you need funding, whatever it is. I want you to think about if you were helping somebody else, if somebody had come to you for advice, right, about how to do that particular thing, then what advice, how would you tell them to advocate for themselves? And I want you to use those same things to advocate for you, right? We sometimes need to take our own advice and we need to use the skills that we use for other people. We need to use that for ourselves, because if we believe in ourselves enough to give other people advice, right, to help them get to where they want to go, we have to believe enough in ourselves to give ourselves advice and also to follow our advice, right? And so in this whole role reversal advocacy, the goal is to really take what you would give to other people and give it to yourself first, right? And advocate for yourself. Nobody can better advocate for you than you. The fourth thing I want you to really adopt is something that they use in improvisation, and it's called yes and, right? So it's a yes and practice. So what is yes and? It means that when an opportunity is being offered to you, grant, if the opportunity is the right opportunity, right? So it's not just to say yes to everything, but if there's an opportunity that is presented to you and it is a good opportunity, and otherwise you would be like, right back in that frozen, like, I don't know about this, maybe I'm not the right person, and instead be like, oh, I'm her, no, I'm her, right? And when somebody makes that opportunity, you say yes, but don't just leave it at yes and. So what is the and? The and is how you add your stuff to it, how you add your insights, how you add your thought leadership, how you put your funk on it and your stank on it, as they say, right? How do you add your little, right, your unfactor to it? So for example, having a conversation with a client who has seen you on LinkedIn, seen all the thought leadership pieces that you've put out, whether it's in writing or video, you've been out there talking about, a topic, and they believe that they have an issue that you can solve for them. So they're having a conversation with you and they want you to come in. They want you, they're thinking, oh, I really need somebody to come in and do some training and blah, blah. And you're listening to the client and you're like, yeah, they want training. And you're saying, yes, great. I think that's a great idea. And what I also believe, what I'm listening to you, what I'm hearing you say, what I know from my experience is that in order for this to really have the sustainable, lasting impact that you want to have, we also need to do some individual coaching. We also need to do some leadership coaching. We also need to do a workshop series. We also need, right? And yes, and, right? So that's just one example. If you're in, somebody proposes a project to you or proposes an idea to you, yes, I think that's a great idea. And I think we can also do this, right? We don't just have to always accept everything, right, just as it is given to us, because we have ideas, we have thoughts. And because we believe in who we are, right? We believe in our brilliance, then we will speak up and say, yes, that's a great idea. And you know what? I also have something to add to it. This is about belief, right? This additional, giving this additional insight, these additional ideas, these additional opportunities. That's about belief, right? Your belief that it's not just what everyone else wants to do. I also can contribute. I also have something that is of value, right? So yes, and so that's the fourth one. So these are the ways, right? So we talked about um, I just gave you 4 ways to help you disrupt any pattern that you have that is impacting the way that you believe, what you believe about yourself and your ability to go after your goals. So I'm gonna go over them real quick again. One is evidence journaling. So really taking stock of the things that are happening, like the impact that you're making in the world. 2 is public commitment challenge, like put it out there in the world, tell the people that you're going to do it, and then keep us updated on the fact that you're doing it. Third is role reversal advocacy, meaning advocate for yourself just as you would for somebody else. And then number four is the yes and practice, meaning be open to accepting opportunities, but also be willing to add on your insights and your thoughts, right? Believing in who you are and your ability to add value. So that's what I have for you today, right? In terms of it's not your brilliance, it's your belief. I would love to know what you all thought about this. It did go a little longer than I intended, but I really wanted to make sure that you all got this because I see this so much with the women who come into my space. I see this so much with women who are my clients. I see it in me. I see it in me and I get called out on it too. And so I wanted to just give us the space to be able to have this discussion and really talk about what are the things that are holding us back. If it's not the brilliance, right? If it's not all the degrees, it's not all the certifications, what is it? And it really is your belief. So when we get to the belief stage, though, it doesn't end there. What we have to do then is take action. Right. And so that's why I wanted to give you those 4 things, because those are 4 things that can help to get you into action. And then the 5th thing that I would love to do for you to get into action is to come join me April 29th through May 3rd. So if you're watching this at some other time, the workshop's probably going to be happening close in time to this, to when you're watching it too. So you just have to go to positionpitchprofit.com. So go to positionpitchprofit.com to sign up for Speaker Pathways to Profit workshop. So this is another way for you to really get into the habit of understanding who you are and positioning yourself to be able to move towards the goal that you have. So it'll be 5 days of live training, free live training with me. An hour a day, sometimes maybe an hour to an hour and a half a day, where we will be talking about positioning. We're going to be talking about prospecting, pitching, and we're going to be talking about presentation skills and pricing impact. We're going to be talking about my P6 framework, essentially, that I use with my clients to help them work through what they are building in terms of thanks, Amanda. In terms of what they're doing out in the world, right? So if you come, which you should come, come to positionpitchprofit.com. It's the Speaker Pathways to Profit workshop. Day 1, we're going to be talking about be seen, be known, be paid. It's all about positioning. So all of these things that we're talking about in your belief system, like believing that you are who you say you are, is showing up and being positioned in the right way so that other people see it too. Day 2, we're going to be talking about identifying your paying audience. Now, Speaker Pathways to Profit, the workshop, is for people who want to speak. Either you want to get paid to speak or you want to speak to get paid. So we will be talking about identifying your paying audience. Now, all of the things that I'll talk about will be useful if you're still in the corporate space, because positioning and packaging and all of that is still useful in there. But just know that the real focus on this is around is around people who want to get paid to speak or want to really leverage professional speaking outside in the entrepreneurial space. Day 3, we're going to be talking about turning your contacts into turning your contacts into contracts. So that's going to be about pitching. So day 2, identifying your paying audience is about prospecting. Day 3, turning your contacts into contracts is about pitching. Day 4, we are going to be talking about what are we talking about on day 4, y'all? Let me go to this so I can figure out what we're talking about on day 4. My brain just said, we just stop it right there, Kelly Nicole. We are going to stop right there. Day 4, setting your speaker fees. I should have known that one, right? This is all about your pathways to profit. So day 4 is setting your speaker fees. So talking about packaging and pricing. And then day 5, we are going to be talking about presentation skills and the marketing part of your business in terms of selling and marketing while you are on stage. So that's what we're going to be talking about day 5. So this is going to be no fluff, no BS, straight, no chaser. And it will be actionable. So it's important for me that when people are in my space, that you have the ability to take the information and go implement. It's not enough to continue to gather information. You're brilliant already. You have information. What we need now is implementation. And before we can implement, we have to believe that we are, it's not that you're capable. You just have to believe, right? We have to believe in ourselves and believe again that we are who we know ourselves to be. And then we have to show up that way. So thank you for joining me here today. I would love if you're on Team Replay, drop your comments, or if something moved you and you want to just let me know, you can DM me. If you don't want to do it publicly, you can DM me. And if you are listening to me and you're like, Kelly, yes, I love everything that you're saying. I'm not trying to be a paid professional speaker. However, I do want to know how to leverage all of my brilliance so that I can move forward in my corporate space. I do have another service line in my business called Execu Speak. And that is to work with executive women, women who are in the corporate space who really want to elevate and use and enhance their public speaking skills. So if that's you, then you could just put corporate put corporate in the chat, or just DM me and just let me know that that's what you want to talk to me about, and then we can get on a call and have a discussion about that. But that's it for now. I am off to go do some stuff, rest my voice, but go do some work and to prepare for our Speaker Pathways to Profit workshop. I can't wait to see you there. Please go to positionpitchprofit.com and register. If you know somebody, if you know a couple of somebodies who actually need to be there also, make sure that you share this with them. Tag a friend, tag a few friends, tag a whole bunch of people, share this on your page, share this on your in your feed, whether you're on LinkedIn or Instagram or Facebook, wherever you are. Do not keep this information to yourself, because women, it's not your brilliance, it's your belief. And it doesn't matter if I believe in you, though I do. I need you to believe in yourself. So that's it for now. Have an amazing day. Take care. And I will see you at the Speaker Pathways to Profit workshop. Bye now.